What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Pens and Tea. My name is Carrie, and today we're going to be talking about raspberry jam and the Monteverde Prima fountain pen. So raspberry jam is legit raspberry jam. If you take like a Smucker's, raspberry jam, but make it slightly less sweet, you can take away a bit of that sickly sweet taste. That's pretty much what this one tastes like, which makes me really happy because I like, this much jam, and anything more than that is just way too sweet. But I really like this. I've had this both hot and cold. Hot is very nice. You have to steep it for a long time because it's a very mild flavor when it's hot. But I like it. It's kind of a nice, light, refreshing tea. If you just kind of want something other than water to kind of drink. But you don't really want something that's going to be like, yeah, tea, I don't know where that came from. It says, with lemongrass, chamomile, and a fresh burst of raspberries, this sweet and fruity tea is the perfect breakfast treat. Our favorite part? It steeps a pretty pink. So the ingredients is organic apple, chamomile, lemongrass, hibiscus, and raspberry, with organic and natural sweet raspberry flavoring. I would agree with that. It's pretty good. It's an herbal fruit infusion blend, caffeine free. You take about a teaspoon and a quarter into nearly boiling water and steep it from anywhere to 4 to 7 minutes according to David's Tea. I let mine steep for like 10 minutes if I'm going to have it hot. If I'm going to have it cold, then I just leave the leaves in the entire time that I'm drinking it because I have a press that will actually press the leaves down so that when I take a sip, I don't obviously get the leaves in my face, which is nice. This was a part of the Mother's Day range. Currently, you can't buy it in just this bag anymore, which I believe was about $8 for 50 grams. But you can still buy it with in like a package set with this and the lemon pound cake, which I've also done. Friggin' delicious, just so you know. It also comes with tea bags that you can put your loose leaf into, a mug, and I believe a spoon, but I'm not too sure if the spoon comes with it. So you can still buy this tea, you just have to buy the set now because it was part of the Mother's Day range. But I hope that they bring this back out because I really do enjoy it. A little spoiler, something else I also enjoy is this Monteverde Prima fountain pen. This one is actually a 1.1 stub nib, and I bought this, I want to say almost 2 years ago. It was very early in my fountain pen hobby discovery because it was I didn't have a stub nib, and the stub nib on this one was on sale, so I went ahead and I bought it. So I'll move up a little bit closer so you can see. This is the green and black swirl. There are many different finishes. As you can see here, this is actually the converter that you're seeing here. It's slightly translucent, which I really dig. The top has the typical Monteverde logo. The clip is pretty much unusable. It's so stiff, and I feel like I'm going to break my nail every time I try and do anything with it. The silver band that just says Monteverde around it, you unscrew it to reveal the 1.1 stub nib, number 6 size, and the very large grip section, which I really like. It makes it super easy to hold unposted, and it feels perfect in my hands unposted. That said, push to post, it posts very deeply, very securely, and because of that, it's not back weighted, even when I post it, and like I said, I typically don't. So I'm sure many of you that do post will really appreciate that. So that is, prima. The back is just black. There's nothing to it, with a little silver ring there. You unscrew the barrel, and like I said, it is slightly translucent, so you can see there. It's kind of like You can't eyedropper convert it, so I guess it's not like super important that it's translucent, but it just is. And the reason why you can't eyedropper convert it is because the threading is metal. But it does come with a standard international threaded converter, which just means that you screw the converter into the body unit, which I really, really like, because then when you go to fill or clean the pen or anything like that, you don't have to worry at all about the converter separating from the nib unit. But it accepts the non-threaded as well. So if you have a bunch of those lying around, have no fear, they're good to go. So that is really convenient. Put this guy back together. So I really dig it. Like I said, it feels solid to me. It doesn't feel like it's going to break or anything like that. So I really, really like it. And like I said, I've had it for a good while now. And I've knocked it around a fair amount. And I don't have any scratches or any dings, really. So that's really cool. Like I was saying before, another thing I like is that large grip section. It tapers ever so slightly towards the nib unit, but it does have a little ring right here that, like, you know, so your fingers won't slip, but I don't find the grip slippery at all. I will say I don't typically ever have that issue, like even with metal grips, I don't find them slippery, but this one I really don't find. But the grip is large enough where all of your fingers will fit in the actual grip section. Should you decide to hold it farther back, there is a bit of a step between the threads and the body. The threads you barely feel, they're super smooth, but there is a noticeable step, but you would have to hold it pretty far back in order to come across that as an issue anyways. And you can completely take it apart. So it is a number 6 size nib. You can replace the nib with another number 6 size. I don't, because I really enjoy this 1.1. It's a very smooth writer, which I'll tell you more in the actual writing sample, but you can replace it if you want to. The only downsides to it is, like I said, that clip is basically unusable, and it is a little inconsistent when writing, a little. And like I said, I'll explain that in the writing sample. But as far as the body is concerned, I love it. I really actually like the design. I don't have any other pens quite like this. But like I said, you can get a whole bunch of different designs. So I really do. I like it. It's solidly built. I know I can trust it. And let's jump into the writing sample where I've got a little bit more to say. Alright, so this is the Monteverde Prima with a 1.1 stub nib filled with Caran d'Ache Vibrant Green, which is also what this is, in case you're wondering. I did like an ink splotch on the other side. If you head over to my Instagram, you'll actually be able to see what that was. So this nib is pretty good. It starts off decently wet when you first start to write. It does start to dry out a little bit as you keep going. This is not a skip, by the way. I just wasn't holding the pen right. So you can see here how it's like nice and juicy towards the end, but then you don't quite get that as much the farther I continue. So the feed does slow down a little bit with your ink. It never slows down enough to actually give you skips. Like I said, I just wasn't holding the pen right. It doesn't skip and it doesn't like have hard starts or anything like that. So it keeps up well enough to continue writing. But the sort of, what I call the juice factor does die down within a few sentences when you start to write. So that's a bit of a bummer, and it really depends on the ink as well. Like if you put in like a wet ink, like one of the Noodler's Eel series, then you won't notice that quite as much. But with drier inks, you will certainly notice. As far as like flex goes, you're not really going to get anything. You can obviously see that I'm railroading here, but it's a stub nib, so you already get that defined, thicker downstroke, really narrow cross stroke. So you already get line variation just with the design of the nib, which, by the way, is very smooth. There's no tipping material. It's just flat, and the edges are quite rounded, so you don't get a super duper sharp, defined line like you would on a cursive italic that I have on my Franklin Christoph Model 66 video that I have. I have a cursive italic there, but even then, it's the defined line is still pretty good, and it makes for a really pleasant experience to write with. Reverse writing, you're not going to get quite as much variation as you will just regular writing. It keeps up pretty well as far as wetness goes, but it is a little bit scratchy. So I definitely enjoy this pen. I really, really like the pen itself. My only complaint with the nib is that it dries out a little bit as you write. But other than that, I really do like it. I haven't done any modifications to it, by the way, since getting it. So this is the way it came out of the box. So other than that one thing, absolutely I would prefer it. If you've never had a stub nib, I would recommend it. The only thing I would say with a stub nib is it is a little bit more picky with if you rotate your hand. You'll start to see these little guys here. Excuse me. So if you've never had a stub nib, just be careful of that. Otherwise, you should be, really happy with this one. So guys, as you can probably tell, my voice is starting to cut out. So I'm going to call it a day. If you like the video, hit that thumbs up button. If you really like the video, hit the subscribe button. New videos come out every Monday and Friday around noon Eastern time. And don't be afraid to leave any questions, comments, or concerns down in the comment section below. I do read them all and I answer them all as soon as I can. Awesome. I'll see you next time, guys. Bye.